Next pop-up is in position call tribute pop-up. Again, we have the same information as in tribute pop-up, just to know their tendencies. And again, we have the ranges. In position versus tribute, we have all positions. Here we have fold versus tribute stats. We have a call tribute, and when we hover over it, we can see the distribution of their calling tribute range. So the blue color is call tribute range, and the green color is forbit range. So we can know exactly how their calling range looks like. And one important thing is to know that a lot of player has mixed strategies, and that's correct way to go. For example, we see that this player is forbiting part of ace jack off, part is forbet, part is call, also for ace 10, and ace queen, king queen. So you need to take that also into consideration, because it will affect their call range, and also it will determine their forbet range. We see the percentage, call tribute range 20%, button versus small blind. Then when we go here, we see their forbet range. When we click here, we know that green color is aggressive line, so green color is telling us their forbet range. We can see so button versus small blind, their bluffs. The most important thing to take here is where does their value range starts. I would say this player is starting from tens plus ace king. Probably they will sometimes call a shove with the ace queen. Their bluff starts with the ace jack off, ace 10 off, king queen off, king jack off. And we see the suited part of the king 9 suited, queen 9 suited as a forbet bluff also. This is their forbet percentage. This is forbet range. For 4.6 is a forbet range, and here we see a fold versus 5-bet. We have that for all positions. So in all positions you will know how their range looks like, how their call range look like, how their forbet range looks like, bluff range, and important thing is always to take fold versus 5-bet, because they're telling you the strength of their forbet range. Then we go to the post flop. We have the fold versus c-bet. On all streets, fold to c-bet, to turn barrel and the river barrel. And when we hover over here, we can also we have for versus the hero, the same thing. And when we hover over to here, and also this is really a nice feature to know. When you see that this player is calling 63% in position on the flop, and you want to know when you hover over it, you will see calling versus circuit size, so you will know how much they bluff. You see that he's calling really a lot versus the smaller bets, and also when you click here, you will know how much they are floating. And this is general diagram of their entire strategy, so you will know. It is quite important there to see how much they float and call without equity. So we will just hover over it. You will see the context of the hand. Okay, these are pretty standard floats like ace jack, ace queen on this type of the boards, ace queen on the paired low board. And but also the nice thing you can take from here is how they play also turn and the river. So you have the context hand here. For example, this guy has called ace king preflop, and then he has called 2-8-8 with the ace king on 1/3. He also on the turn of deuce he called a pretty heavy bet, which is pretty standard thing with the ace king, and he called the shove on the river. So you have the context of the hand. You will see their floating range, and then you can go to, you see this guy is also calling a turn pretty often, and you will see on the turn distribution of the range. You see there are no trash anymore. Ace highs are some of them, gut shots, draws, a low pair and middle pairs, and again you can see the context of the hand. For example, calling 3-3 on a king queen, and then on the 7. Okay, I see that it was 1/5 size and 1/3, but again you will have general idea how will they be playing against a double barrel. You will know that this player we'll call it pretty light. When you go on the river, you will see defend on the river. See this guy will call shoves pretty lightly. Low pairs 28%, middle pairs he's not folding too lot on the triple barrel. So we want to identify those type of players to adjust your strategies. You have the sizes here, and also you have the boards to see how they play on certain boards. Also cool thing is 3 flush hits. So when the flush draw is on the board and flush draw is on the board, and you can see how they played the turn. If the flush has hitted, this guy will fold only 33%, and he will also not fold much on the river. And here is when the 3 flush hits and he check calls the turn, how much he will fold the river, 43%. And also quite nice thing to know, how much he will play when the flush has missed. So it was a flush draw on the board, on the turn is a brick or something that isn't a flush, and how will he play the river? Because I see a polarization in the pool. Many people will call pretty light in those spots, putting you a lot of on the flush draws, and when flush draw misses they will not fold a lot, and other players will fold a lot. And also when the flush hits, on the turn, I see that a lot of players will call on the turn okay, but they will all fold the river. So you want to identify those players, and you want to identify those players who will bluff catch a luck when the flush draw has been missed. Okay, then we have the raising ranges. Raise range in position 5.8%. You will see the distribution of their raising range, how much they bluff it, and when you go, you will also know the context of their hand, so you will have an idea what were they thinking about that hand, and then you will generally have an idea how they think. Raising on the turn, we see here a distribution of bluffs, turning pairs into bluffs, and the weight of hands. We have the raising for certain sizes. This is also quite important because on the lower size, small size, you want to raise more than on the bigger size. And also when you click, when you hover over it, you will see exactly the hands that are being raised against the small size. We have here boards also, we have also that flush hits. So for example, a flush hit on the turn, this player raised 5.3%. We see that he's going to turn pocket trees into bluff. And also we have here when the flush missed. Also really cool to know raise, flop and bet, to see how much they will continue on the turn. Will they continue to bluff? Will they continue on the river also? And you can see exactly the hands they had. Here we see how they play against the check. I really like this check versus miss bet. So we call this player called the 3-bet, and you check the flop, and we can see that he is checking range here. This guy is checking 55% in 3-bet pots when it's checked to him. So you want to know how they construct their check range. First, I want to know how much they have top pairs, type of hands, and middle pairs, because that are the hands that will generally call on the turn always. And I would say this part of the range is important, because this type of hands will always call a turn. They will always call the flop, I apologize, and also this type of the range will always call a turn. So you want to know how much they will have, like ace highs, king highs, draws in the range, and do they check strong draws, do they check flush draws, do they check behind top pairs and top pair plus. It's really important to know. And here we have also check versus Mr. and c-bet. So they call the flop and the turn goes check, and they are on the turn. You want to know, will they like check ever good top pairs? So you want to know their checking range, so you can bet as a bluff, because many players they will have really poor check behind turn range, and if they are lacking top pairs, top pair plus, or like good middle pair plus, you'll profitably bluff them on the river. You'll just against this type of players, you will just when you check the turn and they check behind, you'll just go for an overbet shove on the river, because their ranges just can't handle the ship on the river if they're like all of ace highs, draws, low pairs, and no hands that can call a shove. So I really like these two options because you'll know how their check range looks like. Also, we have bet versus miss c bet. You will click here, you'll know how much they bluff, with which portion of the range they are bluffing with. You will see which size they are using, and also one important thing is you will also see in, distribution of their bluffs, but also what are they doing with medium strength hands. For example, that will they check behind 6-6 on the 2-3-8 board? Will they check behind 6-6, or will they check behind like small pocket pairs? Will they step for protection with this type of hands? These are all really important information, and you will easily get it from here. Also, you'll see here steps on certain boards, and then we have how they play delay range. Also really important to know. We have delay range divided on three sizes, so we can see their delaying range. When we go into here, we can also see how they play river. You just go into the context of the hand and you will see how they play river. So here we have how much they fold versus delay, how much they raise delay. You can see with what they are raising delay. So basically you have all information how they play their check ranges. And by doing this you can know when to attack, and to know how their range looks like, so you can attack their range. Okay, this is for out of position calling 3-bets. We have the similar for this is for in position. We have similar for out of position. We have positions. We have also fold versus c-bet, pretty similar to what we had there. Stab ranges, and also we have check raises. This is really important to know their check raising frequency, their check raising distribution. You want to know what are they doing. For example, is this guy doing stuff like this? Queen 10 is a really good check raise bluff, and you want to know, will they check raise like blockers, pseudo blockers and stuff like that, or they will just like check raise equity. This is really important information to know. And you will also have like against certain size how much they check raise. For example, you see that against 70% plus, check raise goes a lot down. Here you have also board structures on which the player is check raising, and we also have, for example, flush has hidden, the guy has check raised the turn. Let's see with which hands they have check raised the turn. This guy check raised the set and check raised the straight on the turn against the double barrel. We also have check raising river stats, also important stuff. Pretty similar to what we see in the in position called 3-bet, and again there is no small blind versus big blind here, because we have the separate pop-up that is separated, so only hands there are for small blind versus big blind, from singular raise pots, and also for 3-bet pots and 4-bet pots. Okay, we'll go now to the next pop-up.